Hi, my name is KIM-TROT, and I'm a hypnotherapist and I do past life regression.
And I'm Mark Tullius. I'm an author and one of her guinea pigs.
Yep, a good one.
Well, I had been hearing about Kim through Facebook posts, and it just seemed like it was something I was supposed to do. I'd never been to a hypnotist before, and I thought it'd be interesting. I had never considered past life regression as being possible. So I was definitely going in as a skeptic. I didn't even think I'd be able to be hypnotized, but I just wanted to see what it was about. And yeah, I was a little scared going in, a little nervous, but I brought along my video camera to make sure she didn't take advantage of me, and we went from there.
You know, it's funny. I worked in civil engineering design for a long time, and my dad was a physicist. I'm married to a skeptic and chemical engineer, so I'm pretty used to that energy, and I'm pretty well aware of, what the origins are. And it's mostly just not being able to understand or quantify things you can't control, see, hear. That's where it stems from. And so usually just trying to describe the process the best way I can, is the best way to go into it. And the key is not to try to analyze it while you're doing it. And once you get all those facts in place, all those things in place, you can kind of catch yourself trying to analyze or control the outcome, move that to the side, and then let it happen.
Yeah, because that is one thing that struck with me. So even though I still was struggling with it, I wasn't like, okay, is this real? Is it not? Did I just make it up? Is it another story I made up? It's not really the kind of story I would make up. I mean, the character dies at the end, so that's part of my stories. But it didn't feel that way at all. In the first one, I think it took place in France. I was definitely sure of that. The royalty had taken my sister away. There was a lot of frustration. I was in the forest, got attacked, and stabbed and killed. And I remember that part. And my second one was a little bit different. I was in England, very, very poor, had a lot of younger sisters and brothers. I was trying to take care of them. I think both my parents were dead. An old lady looked after us, and I was stealing food to try to provide for us. Got arrested, thrown in jail, and that's where I died, out of hunger and starvation, whatever. So there was just, this frustration, this helplessness, a lot of anger, and I think that those feelings were in both. But one thing that we talked about, which I thought was really interesting, was, whether or not I believe the experiences are real, doesn't really matter as far as how powerful they can be. I'm a huge believer in looking at our childhood and seeing where we've come from, and to explain, who we are now. And, by doing these experiences, even if they're not real, and if it's just our subconscious making up this story, you're still addressing those issues, and you're working your way through them. And I think that's why it's so powerful.
Yeah, you're still benefiting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, either way, whether you don't believe at all. And the thing I think that struck me about your two lifetimes where you were kind of powerless, like, the one where they took your sister and you actually said you attacked the soldiers in the forest, and you had like a bow or a club, and they had swords and killed you and stabbed you. And both times you were kind of powerless. And then it's interesting to me that you came back in this big body and you do mixed martial arts, and it's all about strength and power. And that probably is a reaction to those lifetimes of not being able to take care of your family, and seeing people die. And the other thing that struck me in your second lifetime was you said that there was a man in prison where you were arrested that's a friend of yours, or that now. And that's really common, to run across the same people. And it when you recognize who they are, you get a more depth of understanding of your relationships with them.
Yeah, that's true. I actually called him the very next day too, and
Guess what?
Yeah, he thought it was kind of funny, but I mean, he went along with it, and he was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did make me appreciate him more too, because I saw some things in that character and how important those qualities were for me, and why we are friends.
Yeah, and too, about your nightmares going away. I mean, I don't want to take away any of your inspiration for your stories, but it kind of brings it to a more you react with more understanding of why you're reacting to things.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like your friends, you understand why you were drawn to them or know them, and so it's a really interesting process. Even if you don't believe it or you do believe it, it just doesn't matter. It helps.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. One thing I didn't mention also is that I'm definitely going to do it again, because I think it's not a one-time deal, especially going in as a skeptic. I think it just would be that much more powerful this next time. So I'm definitely going to do it again. I think it has a lot of power. I think it's something people should check out and try. It's a way to help yourself grow. So thank you very much for the experience. It was awesome.
Well, thank you. I just feel like people find me for a reason, like they're ready to move on or figure out what the issues are, and I'm just so thankful that they do. I just love my job. It's really fun to watch the transformations, to watch people stop having nightmares or stop having those problem relationships, and I just am grateful to be able to do that for people.